When I, excuse me, when I graduated in '66, the best class of Cheney High School. And I worked for Dean Brandis out here at the 2 Mile Corner. He ran a mobile station. I worked for him for a year, and then I went into the service. The first time I applied to go in the service, I went to Kansas City, the induction center for my physical, and they called me out and said I wasn't physically fit for military duty. So I came home, I worked for Dean for a year. I waited a year, I went back again and tried again. And the second time I went, they took me. So I joined the service, joined the Navy, and that was probably one of the best things I did. At that time, I was a young man here in Cheney, and I needed probably a little bit of discipline. And I guarantee the Navy gives you discipline. It was one of the best things I did. I spent 4 years active duty and another 20 years in the reserves. I retired as the Navy chief. And I served aboard the USS Enterprise, which is the world's first nuclear aircraft carrier. We carried almost 6,000 men on that ship. I worked in our division in engineering. I was a pipe fitter and a welder. And January 14th, 1969, it was our own bombs went off. We were off the coast of Hawaii going back to Nam, and we lost 28 men that morning and injured over 350 men that morning as our own bombs went off and killed a bunch of our guys. But 2 months later, we were back on Yankee Station over in Vietnam. We repaired it in Hawaii and went right back to work. So that was one of the ships I served on. I served on quite a few other ships, a USS Dixie, which was a tender. We repaired any ships that came in. I did a lot of repair work on those. I was on the USS Davison, Pearl Harbor, and finally they decommissioned it and sold it to Pakistan. And then I was on the USS Bagley for a few years. And then I taught firefighting for quite a few years. I think 5 or 6 years of firefighting. So, but that spent my 24 years in the military, and that is probably one of the greatest things I've done, other than getting married. Getting married was my greatest thing, but military was my second best thing I've ever done in my life. So.
In Branson, where the Radisson Hotel used to be, they hosted a lot of military reunions, and they have a wall that's called the Wall of Heroes. And Bruce's picture is on the Wall of Heroes in Branson.
Yeah, I'm the commander of the American Legion right now. I've been commander for, 3 or 4 years, and then I was commander before that. We have an excellent American Legion here in Cheney. Some of the guys we have, my father was American Legion. I give the money to the American Legion too, because your dad was VFW. My dad, all of the VFW guys were American Legion members too. We had every one of them Leon Smith, Frank Ritchie, Homer Henry, Dale Hoffine. All those guys were VFW members and American Legion members. Well, we got down to only had 10 VFW members left in Cheney. So the VFW shut us down. Then they voted we had a meeting and all of our guys got together. And we had almost a little over $10,000, I believe it was, and voted, what do we want to do with this money? Well, there's 4 cemeteries in Cheney, so we decided to give each cemetery $1,000 to buy flags, American flags put on the graves. And then we decided to give $3,000 to the American Legion because we were all American Legion members. And then the rest of the money we just donated back to the VFW. So all of our VFW guys were American Legion. But we have a big for a small town, we have I think a very good American Legion out here.
Very active. Very active.
Very active American Legion. We have the Memorial Day program, we have the Veterans Day program, and we have a soup supper every year that's well attended. So it's a very good program we have here.
And you have Flag Day.
Yeah, we have Flag Day, but things are starting to dwindle down now. People are getting older out here, and the young people, you just can't seem to get them in. It's getting kind of hard. And our older guys we're all in our 70s, late 70s now, so it's getting a little rough. But we have an excellent American Legion. And then we do have Flag Day every June 14th. We properly dispose of American flags for Garden Plain and Cheney, because Garden Plain's been bringing theirs over to us too. American Legion, I don't travel. I mean, I go to the district meetings and stuff. In fact, we're going next week. We could tomorrow. Got a district meeting down in Mulvane. It's a welcome home to our district commander. We're going to that. Most of our traveling is with the USS Enterprise Association. I've been on the board for 4 years. I just got off this year. But we had over 250,000 men served on that Enterprise, USS Enterprise. And we have reunions all over the United States. We put on the reunion in Las Vegas in 2022. We started to put it on in 2020. COVID hit, and they had to shut us down. So then we put it on in 2022. We had 126 fleet sailors there, and we had two from Philippines, one from Hawaii. They come from all over the world, the guys that served on our ship. So we just got back from the reunion in Pensacola, Florida. Fantastic reunion. Next year we're going to San Antonio. Next year we're going to San Antonio, Texas for a reunion. The following year we're going to Mobile, Alabama for a reunion. Year after that we're going to Windsor Locks, Connecticut for a reunion, unless the new Enterprise are building a new Enterprise, be the last Enterprise ever built. The CVN 80. And if it's commissioned in 28, then we'll have our reunion in 28 in Newport News. If it's not, we'll go to Windsor Locks, Connecticut.
We travel a lot just for...
Yeah, we travel. The wife and I travel a lot for just by ourselves. We like to go on cruises. We like to go to Colorado, South Dakota to see old classmates. So Tonder Wilson's one of our classmates. Went up and saw her a while back and really enjoyed that. We have a lot of reunions for our class. We get together. I'll tell you what, the class of 66 was probably the greatest class that ever graduated from Cheney. I'm bragging, but they are. And every couple of years, we have a reunion. We have one every 5 years, and now as we're getting older, we have it about every 2 years. So, and it's a great time just for elderly people that get together and enjoy each other. So, we just saw one of our classmates, Judy Morrison Spalding. She was here for the fair last year. I talked to her, and she said, well, I'm going to be in Cheney for the fair. So about 15 or 20 of us got together, and we had a reunion out at DeMario's Pizza at Cheney. So it was really great. Chance to see her. I hadn't seen her in probably 40 years. So it was fantastic. We had a good time on that. American Legion, like I said, I'm commander of American Legion, and they have an honor flight out of Kansas. It's all over, the United States, but one in Kansas. There was 11 of us from Cheney went from our American Legion, and I went with 3 of my classmates, Don Brown, Fred Foley, and Les Shepard. All 4 of us graduated together, and we went to the Washington, D.C. on the honor flight. And, we couldn't have asked for better weather or anything. It was an honor to go on that. And I was chosen as one of them to help lay the wreath on the tomb of the unknown soldier, which was very much an honor. I was very honored to do that. And we had a fantastic time. You can ask anybody that's ever been on one of those trips. It is an honor to serve. You feel like you served your country, and you feel like you've been honored on it. A lot of the veterans came back from Vietnam, didn't feel like they were worthy of what they did, but they were. Anybody that served in the service, they're worthy of what they've done.
Talk about the welcome home you got.
Coming back from the honor flight, Cheney, they had
Fireside 4.
They had a Fireside 4 sing at there. They had the mayor of Cheney was there. I bet there was probably 500 people from Cheney showed up.
And surrounding area.
But 500 people from Cheney that showed up at the honor flight at the airport when we got back. And it was, like I say, it was really, you felt excellent and good about what you've done, You felt you were very well treated. I enjoyed it. While we were there, we went to the Vietnam Veteran Wall. We went to the Korean War Memorial. We went to the World War II Memorial. I mean, in 3 days, they packed a lot in, and we saw a lot of stuff. When we got home, we were tired, but it was fantastic. You couldn't ask for a better time, and especially when I went with some of my friends, that I grew up with. That really made it great. Yeah, when I got out of the service, I came back to Cheney. I welded for a couple of years for different companies. I welded for a farm company, and I welded for a pipe company. Then I went to, Then I went to work for the post office. I worked for the post office for 31 years. It was a good job. I carried out the west side of Wichita as a letter carrier. And as far as for retirement nowadays, back then the post office was excellent for retirement. I think things have changed now. That things are a little different than what it was then. I was the old civil service when I went in, and now it's federal employees retirement. So it's my time in the post office. I carried one route, I think 12 or 15 years. In fact, I had little kids on that route that graduated and got married when I was carrying. And I was out here at the Cheney Fair one day, and one little girl come up and told me, "You used to be my mailman." And her mom was judging jellies and stuff here at the fair. And so I met a lot of good friends out when I had good people on my route. I had a couple of older people. That one lady, she would make me a piece of cake, give me a big piece of cake. She said, "Because you're a big boy." So she'd always cut me a big piece of cake. But when you carry that long, you just get to know the people on your route, and they get to know you. One guy in the summertime, whenever I'd come, it'd be hot. He'd see me coming down the street. He'd turn on his garden hose and get it the water good and cold. So when I got there, I could get a cold drink. So really nice people I met while I was in the post office.
One thing I'm going to say about his welding, while he was working as a welding, we hadn't been married too long, Dodge City contacted him and wanted him to come out there and be a welding instructor at the junior college. But we bought our house and we couldn't go. But
Yeah, we just got married, 2 kids, bought a house. I couldn't leave Cheney then, so we stayed here, which I'm glad I did. Cheney's a great place to live.